Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the Stranda Makrill. This board features a directional cam rocker, so you have a longer rocker in the nose, camber underfoot, and then a short rocker in the tail. That's going to give you all the load, pop, snap, and drive of traditional camber underfoot, but that rocker in the nose and the tail is going to give you ease of entry in and out of turns, as well as more optimal powder float. This board is only available in a 152. I rode this board at Copper Mountain on a day that had 3 inches of fresh snow on top of the 13 inches that had fallen over the previous 2 days. It was a little windy at the top of the mountain. It was a mix of blue-gray skies. Bottom mountain, perfect corduroy. You had chop, chunder, kind of just a mix of all POW conditions in between. And I rode it with my Rome Black Label bindings and my K2 Thraxis boots. Flex and stability. So if you look at this board, clearly it's a directional board. That means it's going to have a directional flex. Softer nose, progressively stiffening up to the tail with a moderate amount of torsional flex. Overall, it's more in the free ride category than the all mountain category in terms of middle of the road flex. And when it comes to stability, the camber profile, the width, the shape, and everything kind of work in conjunction to give you a smooth ride underfoot. Sure, at speeds, you're gonna notice that there's a little chatter, and you're gonna feel some of that slightly reverberate under the front insert pack, but it's never enough that you have to worry about foot fatigue or getting bucked around. This board literally cuts through everything. Like, I got into some really crusty, choppy shit, and it just basically plowed everything out to the side and stayed on top of it. So you'd look at this board and you'd be like, there's no tail, I'm not really gonna get any spring. You'd be wrong. It's really easy to load that camber section up, roll back on the tail, and then it pops. This board will porpoise through fresh snow, launch off of a little pillow popper, or even hit a side hit. It was actually really surprising with the shaping of it and just how set back that cam rocker is that you could pop with it. So do not hesitate to send it if you have to. Just understand you don't have a lot of tail for landing gear if you're coming down really abruptly. So I don't know where we are in this review, but have you clicked like on the video? Good. Now why don't you subscribe and click the bell and get those notifications? That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for you. You know you want to do it. You really don't have much tail to work with. I mean, you can kind of lean back and get a little bit of a wheelie out of it. The nose, well, it's really pointy, so when you pop a 180 and go to spin into it, this tends to hook and revert you around. In my opinion, just keep it straight and slash and pow. You'll be a lot happier. You want to go pow butter with it? Better find the right conditions and know what you're doing. This board can carve. It carves exceptionally well. It's a little slow off the front foot just due to the width, so it can be a little bit sluggish, but as you get up to speed and start to guide it back underfoot, this is where it really takes over. Right at the inserts, you've got added contact points. They grip and lock, and with the torsional flex, you can really ankle steer this board and kind of exaggerate your movements. This will help you with short, tight, quick carves and even lock you in on those medium, mellow carves. The nice thing is, with the camber being set back, you get a lot of power underfoot and then off through the tail. This is gonna allow you to slingshot through the turn. This is also just gonna give you that drive when you need to disengage the front foot and really just roop that carve. Like I said, surprisingly, this board can carve and it's good at it. You feel secure, you feel locked in, and it'll cut through any of that crud that happens midday from powder panic when you get all those push piles and stuff, so you don't really have to worry about it. You're just gonna be able to lock this in and swoop in for the kill to get back to your stash. So if you see your stash over there, you lay it into the toe side, you're gonna roop that carve, get over flat base, slash, get back on that heel side edge, cut right back across, boom, repeat. This board, actually very versatile for the shape of it. Rider in mind. So who is this board for? It's for the resort ripping powder guy that will still carve on a groomer. If you like what we're doing over here and you want to support us further, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but then again, I've got a video over there that'll explain it so much better. This board is great. One of my favorite POW shapes that I've ridden for 2025. This thing floats well. You can really just put your weight on that back foot and raise the whole front of the board up and really drive it to keep your power and kind of porpoise through, especially if you get into a flatter section. When you get into a steeper section, you got your weight a little more forward and you swoop in and then transition back on the back foot. You can really throw up a nice slash. Like I said, this thing floats well, it carves well. It's just a really good shape and paddleboard. This is something that not everyone's gonna have, but if you have it, you know that it's gonna excel. I loved riding this thing. I did not want to get off of it. It's just such a good board. Comparable boards: the Ride Superpig, the Jones Storm Chaser, the Rossignol Sushi. Binding recommendations: the Bataleon Astro Asym, the Jones Mercury, the Union Force. This has been my review of the Stranda Makrill. If this isn't the board for you, why don't you go check out a review for one of our comparable boards? We have a really vast library that you should be checking out before you make your board purchases.